What's up, Playboy?
All right. Look, the NFL has gotten shaken up. The NFL draft has been shaken up. The Dolphins moved to number 3, all the way to number 12, and then back up to 6. How did this happen? First off, Dolphins traded the number 3 pick to San Francisco for the number 12 pick. And then they traded the number 12 pick from the number 12 pick they got from San Francisco. They traded it to the Eagles. Then the Eagles gave them their 6th pick. Mm-hmm. So this is shaking us up to say one thing. San Francisco's at number 3. They have made it very clear that they are picking a quarterback and have communicated that with Jimmy G. So it's basically guaranteed. So the question that we now have is, what is the fly route for the San Francisco 49ers when it comes to the number 3 pick in the NFL draft?
Right. So we got to know a few things first. The first is who's going 1 and 2. First off, check out our extra content on YouTube about the NFL draft and the quarterbacks. And that means it's likely going to be Trevor Lawrence and probably Zach Wilson. Mm-hmm. So now you're at 3 and you've got Justin Fields, you've got Trey Lance, you've got Mac Jones available, and you're like, ooh, who do I pick? How do I not mess this up? So that's the first thing. The second thing is I'm going to introduce a new advanced analytic to our audience today.
Okay.
It's called RAS, and it stands for Relative Athletic Score. And what this does is it combines all of the metrics you would get at a combine or a pro day into a score that compares them to other people in their position. So the best person is always a 10, the worst person is always a 0, and average is always 5. And everyone's kind of ranked accordingly in their groupings. So, and this is true for draft prospects and current NFL talent. So that's the first thing. So for example, Jimmy Garoppolo, who is the quarterback in question who might lose his job, averages a 5.01, which is the definition of average. Mm-hmm. Now, why is that important? Well, that's important because Kyle Shanahan, who coaches the Niners, likes athletic quarterbacks. He likes to run the outside zone, a little play action. He likes to create space, move the quarterback around. This is also something his dad was very famous for when he ran offenses, etc. And so you think, okay, if the Niners get a quarterback, it's got to be someone athletic. Got it. You with me so far?
I'm with you, but man, neither Shanahan's quarterbacks so far have been very athletic.
No, they have not. And so you got to think maybe he wants, he plays maybe the Packers and sees Aaron Rodgers can run around and make all the throws, and he's like, ooh, what if I had my offense but with him? It would look damn good. And that's where it brings me to the 2021 draft and who is left. So let's look at the RAS scores, you would say, for the top prospects. Well, most of them don't have one. Why? Because they have failed to run a 40 or do something that's necessary for this score. Okay. So the only thing we have left in is their college tape. How athletic did they look? Did they move around the pocket at all? Did they scramble? Were they able to make these throws downfield, etc.? So when I look at the Niners, you said they moved up to 3, so they're getting a quarterback. But you said, that they're going to stay with Garoppolo for the short term. And for me, that gives away who they're taking.
Okay.
It gives it away.
Okay.
It's Trey Lance. It's easy. Trey Lance out of North Dakota State has played 2 years technically, but really only 1 year in college. But that 1 year looked crazy athletic. 6'4", 224, freaky fast, has great arm talent, but needs some help with the mechanics and throwing and all that stuff. And so you need to sit him. You need to sit him for possibly up to a year, maybe even a little bit longer, depending on where you're at. And you got Jimmy Garoppolo. So Jimmy Garoppolo's cap hit this year is like $24 million, and they're going to pay him. And for me, there's no way you take, for example, Justin Fields, where I think there will be great pressure to start him early because of how he looked at Ohio State and how he looked at his pro day, versus if you take Trey Lance from North Dakota State and people, you say, I'm going to sit him for a year, people are like, oh, okay, that makes sense, North Dakota State, blah, 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 blah. But Justin Fields, Ohio State, you're like, oh, he's got to start. He's better than Jimmy G. He would make this team so much better. There'd be so much pressure. It doesn't make sense to trade up to 3 and keep Garoppolo. Because like if you're going to do it and move up to 3, then trade Garoppolo when you move up to 3. and get off the cap, and then you take Fields, and he's the clear number one.
So I have two feelings. The first is good organizations do not succumb to pressure.
I don't think they succumb, but I think this is a part of the calculus. I think it's giving it away.
No, I understand why that makes a lot of sense. I'm just going to say good organizations do not succumb to the pressure. Good organizations say we have a plan. We are going to follow through on that plan because we think it is what is best. So people will clamor all they want for Justin Fields if they chose him, but they're like, no, we want to give him some time. We want to let him mature some, get his feet wet in the sport at the professional level. And they would follow through with that because they don't seem like panickers in San Francisco. Nothing the San Francisco 49ers have done, and since Kyle Shanahan has got there, says we panic. Remember when they gave Jimmy G that massive contract before he was proven and everybody was like, what the hell are you doing? And now the way that contract is set up and how there's no real dead cap whenever they want to leave him after this season, and it all worked out really well. Mm-hmm. This is an organization that plans.
You're right.
And is meticulous. Mm-hmm. That's all I'm going to say about the pressure thing.
I'll concede that argument.
All right. Please continue.
I will concede they are planners, which is why I think they're going to take they're not going to take Fields. They're going to take Lance because they are planning to sit him for a year behind Garoppolo. This team wants to win. Despite not being pressured from the outside, I think there's pressure from the inside, from the owner, to win. I think if they keep Garoppolo for a year, they say, hey, he was hurt last year. The team was hurt. We keep him for a year. The contract is doable. $24 million for a starting quarterback is not bad in this league. When that gets 40,
it's good.
That's not bad.
It's good.
So you keep Garoppolo. You try to get to the playoffs maybe this year coming up.
They're a playoff team if they're healthy.
And see what you can do. If it don't work out, you don't win at all. Guess what? You got Lance. He's been there for a year. He's in the offense. He's learned it. You've rebuilt his mechanics, etc., and you're ready to run it back again. And possibly in his second year and first year as a starter could be a playoff team. And so that is the reason why I think they take Lance, because they are planners, because they are meticulous, and because they want to win.
Okay, so I heard all the Trey Lance rumors. It's getting kind of hot up there at number 3 for Trey Lance. And a couple weeks ago, we started prepping our quarterback draft board for some content that you all can catch on our YouTube channel. And I had some notes watching some Trey Lance film, listening to people talk about him. And some of my notes were just like, he throws really infrequently. He threw less than 18 times a game and only played one real season. And he is extremely athletic. Mm-hmm. And I'm saying, and the third thing that I wrote down here was, shouldn't start maybe? ? So I see how you got there. Mm-hmm. He does seem like a quarterback that if he got to sit for some time and got to be coached up, could come out and be really fantastic. I feel like he has a lot of Josh Allen in him. He has a massive arm. He's uber athletic. And it's just about kind of, we saw Josh Allen year 1. No one was impressed. We saw him year 2. No one was impressed, but they were like, it got better. And then year 3, everybody was like, what the fuck? Right? I could definitely see that happening with Trey Lance. I could also see him being Mitch Trubisky. You moved up to take him. He was inexperienced. There wasn't a lot of tape on him. He showed up and he kept showing you all the things that were so great about him, but he also kept showing you a lot of bad that you somehow ignored when you moved up to take him the way you did. That's where I'm at. And I don't know if they want to play boom bust that much in San Francisco when the rest of their team is so good. Right? Like, they had Jimmy G barely throwing the ball, and they got to the Super Bowl.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't know if you want to take a big chance that could bust when your team is that good, but maybe you're just like highest ceiling, untapped potential. I believe I'm that good of a coach that I can definitely get him to that level that we believe he can get to. I understand. And I also am pretty sure that he is dating Colin Cowherd's daughter.
Was not aware of that.
Yeah, look, there are some heavy rumors about this. People have saw him tossing the IG comments. Colin Cowherd actually said on the show that Trey Lance was in his house the other day. And I'm just like, how does
I need reporting, Colin. I need reporting.
Yeah. So I'm just like, how does Trey Lance end up in Colin Cowherd's house otherwise?
As Colin says, put on your big J journalism hat, Colin, and give us all the details.
Exactly. So I'm loving Trey Lance. I feel like his ceiling is very high, but for me, I feel like the fly route is Justin Fields. And I feel like they want a quarterback that is more proven. They have more games on him. They have more film on him. And they have a way better idea of what he is going to be and what he's not going to be. He fits Kyle Shanahan's system really, really well. And I think that's something that's very important. The scheme and the quarterback. He is very familiar. There's a lot of play action passes. Right? Kyle Shanahan does a lot with play action because he wants to develop everything off of a very strong run game. That is something Justin Fields was very familiar with. We know Kyle Shanahan likes moving the pocket. We just saw Justin Fields ran a 4.4, so he can definitely be athletic and move that pocket. But he also has shown that he can make all of the throws and make them accurately. That is big. I feel like a lot of people also had Mac Jones on their list because he kind of looks like the prototypical Kyle Shanahan quarterback so far. Not super athletic, really good processor, can make every throw, etc. And I actually think that Kyle Shanahan wants to add another dimension to that offense. And I think the most risk-free at number 3 for adding that extra dimension to the offense where you can start adding some RPOs, which is something that you almost never see in the Shanahan system, is Justin Fields. He can make all the throws. He's patient enough in the pocket that you know when you have scripted a throw, he's not going to throw it away too fast. But if you have planned a particular run for him, especially the way Kyle Shanahan schemes up things with all that movement on the line, that if you get him on a breakaway, he has receiver level speed. Okay. I like it. I feel like that's the fly route for me.
We will know for sure by about 9 o'clock on April 29th. And if I'm right, I'm calling you.
Look, personally, I hope that you are right. But I believe that the best choice is Justin Fields.
All right. And that's our fly route.
The fly route pod. The fly route pod. The fly route pod. The fly route pod.
We want to thank you all for taking the time out of your day to listen to this video. Did you know that this video is part of a larger Fly Route podcast? Look us up wherever you watch podcasts. We are on Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere. Take the time, subscribe. We appreciate you.
While we have you here, don't forget to like this video and hit that subscribe button. And while you're at it, don't forget to hit the notification bell. Otherwise, you will miss some of our YouTube videos. That's just the way YouTube works. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at The Fly Route Pod.